This is an updated ranking of my 5 hardest platinum trophies. And at the number 1 spot is a game that was ranked the hardest platinum trophy of the year that it came out. The number 5 spot, my name is Mayo. Just kidding. First up is going to be Modern Warfare Remastered. I'll keep this brief because I already mentioned this in my 5 platinum trophies that made me cry video. But just to sum it up a little bit, you have to complete the campaign on veteran difficulty, which is tough, but the hardest thing by far, and it's the only trophy that literally, without this trophy, I would not even be talking about it. Mile High Club, Skydive to safety on veteran difficulty. This took me several hours to get this. When I was playing this in 2016, I genuinely thought that this was the hardest thing I've ever tried to do in my life. Now, I know what you're thinking, bro, you literally say that for every game. I do. I low-key say that for every game, but that's because, bro, they be making these trophies like super hard. Moving on, we have Downwell. Still one of my favorite games, but one that is actually really hard. Now, picking up this game for the first time, you're gonna suck. So to get this trophy by well, where you have to beat the boss, is gonna take you some time to get better with the game and the mechanics and how it works and strategy. Looks like my first trophy came on August 22nd, 2017, and I had beaten the boss on August 23rd. So it only took me a day to actually get good enough to beat the boss. I can't say how much I was playing each day because this happened like 5 years ago almost. I just remember playing and I was like so determined. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna beat this, I'm gonna beat this, I'm gonna beat this. And slowly but surely I was getting better and making it further in the run. After you beat the boss for the first time, you gotta beat the boss again and make it through all the levels on hard mode. Each one of these will grant you a gold trophy for each level. And then once you make it to the boss, you have to beat that on hard mode. If you thought the normal mode was easy, bro, this hard mode is even harder. Obviously, it's called hard mode, dummy. And then there's a couple miscellaneous trophies that aren't too crazy. But once you get all that done, you'll get yourself the platinum trophy called Done Well. One of my favorite names for a platinum too, considering the name of the game. So I got platinum on Cuphead on March 6th. It's even tough beating Cuphead on the normal difficulty on your first time around because you're just unfamiliar with the mechanics and everything and how the game works. But once you beat the game on normal, you're gonna unlock expert mode, where you have to actually beat the game on expert as well. But that's not the only hard part about this game. You also have to get an A- rank or higher on all the bosses in the game. So basically you have to meet harder requirements, and if you fail those requirements, you don't get the A- and you have to obviously replay it. This pacifist trophy, where you have to complete all levels without killing an enemy, is a trophy that really gave a lot of people trouble from what I heard, but for me it wasn't that tough. The run and gun levels were kind of hard, but I don't think the pacifist trophy was anything too crazy. Beating the game on expert was by far the hardest thing to do in this game, and some of these bosses I had to spend upwards of an hour on just because it was so tough. It's doable, and with practice you can do it, but it's very, very tough and very infuriating if you keep dying over and over. Okay, so next is Hollow Knight. If you played Hollow Knight, you know how hard this game is. Just beating the game regularly is hard. In fact, like, I didn't even know what I was doing when I loaded up this game. In order to beat this game, I watched an entire guide from start to finish that showed me where to go because I was lost. The game doesn't give you like any sort of instructions or nothing. Like, you just go and there you go, figure it out. It's like, that's how it is. But Hollow Knight is a great game, really fun. You got to get used to the mechanics a lot in order to get better. And there are some collectible trophies on here that are not too crazy as long as you follow the guide, right? But one trophy that pissed me off is this one called Solace. I think that's how you say it. You have to traverse a large part of the map while holding this flower, and if you take one hit of damage, the flower breaks and you have to go back to the beginning and grab another one, and then you have to keep doing that, and there's a whole bunch of enemies trying to hurt you along the way. That one took me a while. This one right here, Fool, complete the trial of the Fool. It's basically a whole bunch of enemies just swarming you and attacking you, a whole bunch of waves of enemies, and you have to make it to the end. And there's this one part where you can't touch the ground and there's only walls in between you to jump in between, and it's very hard. You got dudes shooting at you, all kinds of stuff. It's almost impossible to me. That took me probably several hours to get that trophy. But by far the hardest part of Hollow Knight is the Pantheons. There are 5 Pantheons in Hollow Knight. Each Pantheon is a boss rush mode where you fight bosses consecutively, and if you die anywhere along this boss rush, you have to restart from the beginning. As you get higher in the Pantheons, they throw harder bosses at you, and there's just a lot more bosses to fight in total. This statement I'm about to make, I honestly believe this in my heart of hearts, okay? I think the Pantheon of Hallownest, or the 5th Pantheon, whatever you want to call it, I think this is the hardest task to achieve in a video game. Now, it's a very bold statement because obviously there's so many video games I've never played. Let me rephrase that and say, out of everything that I have ever done, I think beating the Pantheon of Hallownest requires more skill than anything else. This trophy was so hard that I couldn't even do it. I had to glitch it. Like, there's a glitch in the game where you can just be invincible. I had to use it. If you want to platinum this game, be prepared to dump hundreds upon hundreds of hours into the game and just getting better. You can practice bosses in this sort of practice mode or whatever, and to get better at them, you're going to be spending hours on a single boss just to practice it and get good enough to beat it consistently. And I was dumping hours of my time into this. These hours are long gone, bro. Long gone. Just like the dinosaurs, long gone. And I still could not beat these bosses. So I was like, you know what? I have to save time because I was working on videos and I wanted to get that video out already. So I said, I gotta glitch it. There's no other way, or else I would have given up. I was not gonna put that much time. If there was no glitch, I would have never had this platinum. So next on the list is Crash 4. This game was so infuriating, man. I cannot even tell you. Just playing the game on normal, like no stakes involved, it's kind of tough. You're gonna die a lot, but once you get through the entire game, you have to do extra stuff. In a second, I'll tell you what I think is the hardest trophy in this game, but before that, we have a couple other trophies that are really hard too. Find the hidden blue gem. I remember going for this and I was so pissed off because I think you had to complete a level without dying or breaking any boxes, and I just kept having to restart. It was very annoying. Faster than sound. Earn all of the platinum time trial relics. Oh, this was so painful. You just have to beat the level under a certain amount of time in order to get the platinum relic. I watched so many guides on YouTube to try to help me beat this. 0.7% of players have earned it, so that goes to show how hard this actually is. In my opinion, this wasn't even the hardest part of the game, probably the second hardest trophy, but according to percentage, it probably was the hardest. But for me, this perfectionist trophy was harder than anything else in this game, where you have to earn all insanely perfect relics. And what this means is that you have to break every box in a level without dying, and you have to do that on every level, which is very tough. Die once or miss a box that you can't go back to get, you have to restart the level. I remember spending 4 or 5 hours on a single level because I could not complete this. Honestly, that should be a gold trophy, and so should the faster than sound. Those being silver, I don't know, it's just BS to me. But to get the insane perfect relic on one specific level, I remember it being the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It has to be, bro. It has to be. On another note, if you want to see me struggle to get some of those platinum trophies that I mentioned in this video, here's a playlist where you can watch all those.